Welcome, everyone. I'm Sue Barber, author, former IT director for a Fortune 500 company, turned executive coach, and this is the Visibility Factor podcast, where we explore how to raise your visibility and play bigger at work and in life. We'll explore key topics and welcome guests that help you shift your thinking about yourself so you can see new possibilities for your leadership. I'm on a mission to create a visibility movement for leaders to show their value and be seen for their true talent. Are you ready to take the next step towards a higher level of visibility for yourself? Let's go. Today's episode of the Visibility Factor podcast is brought to you by Amplify You, the ultimate program designed to unleash your full potential and amplify your success. Imagine having a personal coach cheering you on, guiding you through a journey of self-discovery, and helping you break free from those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. That's exactly what Amplify You is all about. Whether you're a leader now or aspiring to be one, this program is your ticket to a more confident, empowered you. It's like having a supportive friend in your corner, encouraging you to dream big. It's about having the career success that you want and creating a life you truly deserve. Amplify You offers a unique experience to help you build the confidence to tackle any challenge life throws your way. If you're interested in learning more about the program, please visit susanmbarber.com and click on the menu item Programs. Are you ready to transform your life and your career? Let's make it happen. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the importance of believing in yourself to achieve success. Now, let me start off with a story. My career at Kraft started out in a non-traditional way. I had recently moved to the Atlanta, Georgia area after getting married and signed up with a temp agency while I was trying to find a permanent role somewhere. Kraft Dairy Group needed help, so I took the role. My thought was that I would be there for just a few months and then I'd find a permanent job. I learned how to do the role pretty quickly and connected well with the sales leaders who were working in the office. While I was working one day, someone mentioned that one of the salespeople had left the company and they were putting together a job description to replace her. I remember going into my boss's office after hearing that and said, "Do you think I could apply for that role?" He was totally supportive. He said the role that I was doing had already taught me more than most people know, and he thought it would be a great opportunity for me. He told me to go have a conversation with the area sales director about the role. So I walked down the hall to his office and asked to meet with him. I told him that I wanted to interview for the role, and we set up time for the next day. At the beginning of the conversation, he said, "This role needs a degree," which I'm sure he hoped would end the conversation quickly. I said, "I have one." Anyway, I guess he assumed that I wouldn't have one as a temp. Big lesson to him, never assume. Anyway, I told him that I did have a degree with a double major in management and marketing. He laughed and said, "You're actually probably better educated for this role than I am. My degree's in sociology." So we kind of laughed about that. But needless to say, I got the role, which offered a company car and all the perks of being in sales. I don't think they even interviewed anyone else that I can remember. I was in the right place at the right time, but that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been bold enough to ask for it. I also remember setting up time to talk to HR soon after I started to find out when I could start my MBA and receive tuition reimbursement. Also kind of gutsy on my part. You get a new role and now you want to get your MBA right away. They agreed to pay for it as long as it didn't interfere with my job. I said, not a problem. So in my new role, I learned quickly and got promoted in less than 2 years. I look back on that time and I can see that I was confident, asked for what I wanted, and they gave it to me. I believed in myself, and although I had never been in sales, I knew that I would figure it out. I remember thinking that I could see myself leading a team in sales at some point like my boss did, so that was my plan. However, Kraft had other ideas. I was offered a promotion to move into our new logistics warehouse, which was the first commingled warehouse that included all the General Foods, Kraft, and Oscar Mayer products together. I never interviewed. It was a conversation that was simple on their part. "We are moving you over to this new area." They chose 3 salespeople out of our division and moved some other people from other parts of Kraft to join their distribution customer service group. It was a new concept to centralize everything under one roof. I was a high performer at that time, and it got me noticed. I took an opportunity to do more things outside of my role and helped others to succeed as well. Sometimes you decide in your career, and I would always advocate for you to do that. But sometimes the company may need you somewhere else. It may not be what you thought you would do, but what if it turns out to be a gift? Let's just say that move into the supply chain function opened up so many more possibilities for me that I couldn't see before. It was one of the best jobs that I ever had. I learned so much about the business and created some lifelong friends as well. I was promoted 2 more times and became the trainer at our distribution site a few years later. The trainer role meant I supported all the training needs, but also all of the systems issues for our location in Georgia and Bentonville, Arkansas. There were a lot of systems issues, as the company was trying to integrate systems from each of the legacy companies into one. I met all the systems and business leadership in sales and customer service through that role. Little did I know that would help me sooner than I thought. I was asked to interview for 2 roles in our headquarters location in Chicago. I was excited for both of these roles, but one was ready to begin before the other. I accepted the role in our food service division, which was a bit risky since it was a project role, and I would need to find myself another role when it ended. I knew that this role would teach me a lot about the business, though, and it gave me a lot of exposure. You will hear more about this role in a few minutes. When I got to headquarters, I felt like I had really made it. It was the biggest office that I'd ever seen. I thought it was so amazing to work there, and even if I stayed at this level, I would be happy. I had no big expectations of climbing the ladder to the top. I didn't believe that I could keep going and told myself a story. This is probably as far as I can go, and honestly, it's further than I thought I would be. So I'm really grateful to be here. Think about that time when you had something good happen to you. It may be exciting at first, but then something may shift for you. Your inner critic sends out some negative messages. I don't deserve this. This is too good to be true. Or any number of harmful thought patterns that prevent you from experiencing the joy and satisfaction that you've earned. Does that sound familiar? This is what New York Times bestselling author Gay Hendricks, who wrote a book called The Big Leap and many others, calls the upper limit problem, a negative emotional reaction that occurs when anything positive enters our lives. The upper limit problem not only prevents happiness, but it actually stops us from achieving our goals. It is the ultimate life roadblock. Can you see how I felt like I had reached my upper limit by coming to headquarters and couldn't see myself going any further? I was grateful, but that didn't mean I couldn't go further. Have you ever experienced an upper limit problem in your career like I did? Think back on some of your promotions. Did you have excitement at first and then perhaps experience fear and doubt? This is the time when you may have experienced imposter syndrome and be in fear that you will be found out. We have all seen it. Some leaders make it to high levels where others struggle. It comes down to having the capabilities, skills, experiences, and knowledge, but more importantly, the belief in yourself. Your own mindset is what makes the difference. A strong mindset is important in many professions, but professional athletes know that it is the difference between winning and losing. They focus on their mental toughness just as much as they do on their physical capabilities. Why? They know that the belief in themselves will be needed when they have a tough moment and need to get back on track. They need to know that they can win even when they are under pressure. They have to believe that their goal is possible and that they will achieve it. A great example of this is Noah Lyles, an elite sprinter for the United States. He's been on a quest to follow in Usain Bolt's footsteps and not only meet but exceed the achievements and records set by Bolt. In 2023, Lyles won gold medals in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and the 4x100-meter relay at the 2023 World Championships and will now go to the Olympics in Paris to compete. His journey and many other sprinter athletes are highlighted in a new documentary called Sprint on Netflix. You can see the incredible, bold way that Lyles talks about the belief he has in himself. He knew that he could win because he grew up around a family of Olympians. He saw what was possible, and his dream to win the medals was only part one. He has an even bigger dream that he is going after now, but he knew he couldn't achieve that bigger dream without getting people to see him and take him seriously by winning the medals. When you're young, you automatically have this trust in yourself. You don't even question what you can do, you just do it. If you try to do something that you shouldn't, your parents will step in and prevent you from being hurt. This is where you begin to listen to others about what you should do. Lyles has believed in himself from the very beginning, and his mother has been there to support him the whole way. So how can you do something to make sure that you're believing in yourself? Over time, you might begin to let other people's opinions influence how you think about yourself. Your parents, your teachers, friends, and family, how they perceive you may impact how you feel about yourself and your capabilities. They may make comments or suggestions that you should try other approaches, which causes you to have doubts. This affects your self-confidence, causes you to question your decisions and what you want to do. Now, self-confidence, by definition, is a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. When other people criticize or have opinions, sometimes that confidence can be swayed. A strong mindset is what you need to keep yourself moving forward, even when there are obstacles like those. You have to believe that you can do it, even if all the evidence tells you that you can't. So here are some questions to help you determine if you are doing what is needed to have a strong mindset. Do you put yourself near others who have achieved the goal that you want so you can see the possibility for yourself? Can you envision yourself at the next level? Do you believe that you can do it no matter what anyone else has to say? Are you ready to show everyone every single day that you can do it? Be honest with yourself, and if you need to work on your mindset, that's okay. Many of us do. If you have doubts, figure out if they are real or if they are stories that you're telling yourself to stay safe. If you have a real gap, then fix it. If it's a story that you're telling yourself to be safe, then reframe it. What are some actions that you can take to strengthen your mindset to keep you on track? I received an email from John Maxwell, author and leadership expert, who shared, "You may succeed if nobody else believes in you, but you will never succeed if you don't believe in yourself." Simply put, if you want to succeed, you need to believe that you can. If you can't rise to the next level in your mind first, you will have doubts and be uncomfortable. These feelings will push you to sabotage the opportunity in front of you to keep you safe and to get you back to a place that is more comfortable. Remember that job that moved me to headquarters? I had moved to Chicago for a role in our food service division. It was a 2-year-long business and systems reengineering program, and my first time working in corporate. Let's just say, in the words of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, I wasn't in Kansas anymore. The environment was completely different than what it was like in the field. How you get things done, make decisions, and accomplish your goals required multiple meetings just to move things forward. In the field, we would make a decision and do things. It didn't work that way here. One day, I had so much on my plate, and I didn't feel like I had time to attend a really big steering team meeting for our program. I knew it was going to take a lot of time to prepare for, and it was going to be a tough conversation that I didn't want to deal with. I went into my boss and said, "I don't have time to go to the steering committee meeting. Would you mind presenting?" Again, that was gutsy on my part. "I'll get the deck ready if you don't mind doing it, and I'll take care of all the other stuff that we have to do." She looked at me without even blinking and said, "Sure, I'll do that, but then I don't think you're really showing that you care about your career at all. So if you don't want a career here, then sure, don't go to the steering committee meeting." Well, that was definitely hard to hear, but it made me realize that the steering committee meeting was way more important to attend than any of these other things that I needed to do. Thank goodness she pushed me to see the reality of that bad call I was about to make. I now know, though, that I was playing it safe. I didn't want to put myself out there. I felt like I didn't belong in the room with that level of leadership. They were all VPs and above. I wanted to work on the easy things that were in my comfort zone. My boss was right. Those things wouldn't help me grow. I would stay safe and my career would never progress. This steering committee meeting was going to be challenging, and there was no doubt it was going to be a lot of hard questions to answer about our progress. It is their role to ask the hard questions so that we all stay aligned. However, it definitely created a lot of stress in my life at that point to be in those meetings, but it was absolutely the right thing to do. The exposure that I got from those meetings was priceless. I got in front of people that I needed to be in front of, and it helped me show myself that I could do it. I knew what I was talking about and had things well organized and thought through. I know these conversations that we had in those meetings helped me get my next role, although I didn't know that it would happen at that time. Sometimes we may talk ourselves out of scary things because they're hard and it will push us out of our comfort zone. We want to avoid the challenging things and we try to do the easy things instead. My fear was getting in the way and affecting my confidence. So let me ask you a question. Where are you spending your time? On the hard things or the easy ones? Getting in front of the right people and influencers will help you be thought of for new opportunities. If you have aspirations to climb the ladder and get promoted, then visibility is more important than anything. You can't let it go and choose the safer, easier route. You have to take risks and believe in yourself even when it's scary. I hope you can see from some of my experiences where being bold and asking for what you want is important. It sends a message that you want to do more. Also, if you go to the big meeting and put yourself out there, people will see you and think about you for new opportunities. This is the time to believe in yourself. Trust that you have what it takes to achieve success and that you will figure out how to solve any challenges along the way. Let's transition into the visibility action for today. I shared why it's important to have a strong mindset and belief in yourself. What happens, though, if you get some hard feedback or you're experiencing a tough moment and it lowers your confidence? Here are some things to reflect on to remember about who you are and the value that you bring. Take a look at your strengths and the values that you have. These are foundations that you leverage every day and the guideposts that help you make decisions. Once you're more comfortable with who you are, then other people's opinions won't matter. Look at your accomplishments. Think back on all the things that you've done throughout your life. Go back as far as you can remember and write them down. They will remind you and most likely surprise you and help you see that you've done some great things, some really great things that you've accomplished throughout your career. Reflect on your own self-beliefs. Are they keeping you small and holding you back? Ask yourself if your beliefs are really true. You have the power to change how you think and what you believe. Changing how you think has a direct impact on your actions and your behavior. Start to focus on what you want to be, not where you are currently. Imagine all the details of how you want to be and act as if you've already become that person right now. Find yourself a mentor or a coach to support you. They can provide objective, non-judgmental input on how you're doing and highlight the ways you are moving towards increasing your self-confidence. Look for others that you trust for support. Ask them for honest feedback. Seek out their help when you need it. Have some trusted advisors available who will keep your confidence up and even help you through a situation if it doesn't go well. And the last is have patience with yourself. Once your confidence has been impacted, it takes time to rebuild and begin to see progress for your transformation. Continue to keep the goal in mind and focus on that no matter what happens to get in your way. I've had my own experiences with the loss of confidence throughout my career, and I went through some of these things, and it really does help you start to see that you've done some amazing things, and those moments of loss of confidence don't have to define you. You can move through them. So get the support you need, ask for help, and be able to move yourself forward. Thanks so much for joining today on the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Visibility Factor podcast. Remember that visibility starts with small steps that are intentional and consistent each day. Be bold, be visible, be the leader you were meant to be. Find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, which are highlighted in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Visibility Factor podcast.